We're back and we don't know what to do anymore. So we decided to have our first ever quiz show at Bodega Cats Comics. How you feeling about that, guys?
That sounds very jump the sharky. We don't know what to do anymore.
We don't. And
Hey,
that's what the show's about. Cut to the intro. No, I'm playing. Los.
listen, man. It is what it is, right? I mean, this whole thing was put together to have fun, right? It's supposed to be a nice variety show, and that's what we're doing, right? We're doing different things. So let's give it a shot, man. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. First ever quiz show on Bodega Cats Comics. Let's cut to that intro.
Bodega Cats Comics.
Meow.
Okay. I'm going to change the cat every time because cats love to be in boxes and it's interesting how many we find. But you saw it at the end of the intro. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit subscribe. We just want y'all to follow in, check in, see what we're doing, and have fun with us.
Sure.
We are up a few subscribers, a few watch hours, and we're 4 weeks in a row. We haven't missed anything. We've been doing pretty good. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited about always kicking it with y'all and making sure this comes out, especially it coming out on New Comic Book Day. So we're here for a game show. We each selected 3 questions to ask. Some are easy, some are hard. Some of us decided to make them not multiple choice. Not going to say who, but you'll find out in a moment. What was that face for?
Because the rules were to make it multiple choice.
Don't load my last comment.
Who's in your house?
Cooking videos.
Oh, okay.
That's who's in my house.
Oh man. So yeah, we're gonna do this. We got 9 questions. One of the questions has a bonus question. We're gonna make sure to keep track of score by putting the lovely numbers down at the bottom. There are dollar signs. Don't know why, because no one's gonna win any money. But it's always better to do that on a game show. And if you feel like it, if the person who has the least amount of points decides to send us something, feel free. We do take food stamps. Oh, you're gonna go off like that?
We take food stamps.
I don't want to be part of this anymore. No,
that's funny. Ideally, so between the two of you, I'd love to hear from you. What do you think would be a great prize if we were to win something?
Oh, man, I hadn't really thought of that. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't thinking about prizes. It was more of like a stature kind of deal. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know more than your counterparts, I guess. I don't know.
I'm
probably gonna be last anyways.
No, you're not. I will be last. Audience members, I will be last. I promise you.
What about you, Jose? What would you feel like would be a good prize?
I mean, I always default to cash money. So, you know, I mean, I loved my AOK box. I think you saw how, much I lit up, but pay me.
Check out the AOK box, y'all. I'm gonna link that too. Let's go.
Yeah, but pay me in cash. I'm fine with that. Send me a Visa gift card. Shit.
Okay.
There you go.
So I got a prize for y'all, but my guest host and color commentator who is going to introduce it to us. So let me get that for y'all. Give me 1 second.
Trash. I don't know why people keep paying absurd amount of money for variants for this book. Oh, yeah. What up, Vic? Sorry. Getting my daily reading in. What's the prize, you ask? All right. Glad you guys are all having your first game show and this quizathon, but we are going to take care of you with your favorite bodega treat. Butter cookies in an aluminum tin. But wait for it. There's more. Like when you go visit your abuela, these tins always have a great surprise. Come check it out. Got a used set of Uno cards. Screwdriver. Lock. No key. Some bobby pins. This is a ton of stuff. Whoever gets the most questions right gets to have this awesome tin of Danish butter cookies. Surprise edition. Back to you, Vic.
MM visited me earlier and said, I got you. So that's the prize.
You're gonna send these poor souls some sewing equipment?
There was tons of bobby pins in there. Did you see the whole bag?
The minute I
No,
saw
you know
it,
what? I don't know what it was on my end, but like your clip kept cutting out, so I missed. I saw like Miles Morales special guest star holding the tin, and I was like, "Are you serious?" So I didn't really actually hear. You know, I gotta go back, but you know, we're giving away sewing equipment. This is terrible.
I knew as soon as he had the tin, I'm like, there are no cookies in that thing.
No.
It's a bunch of random shit.
Some pennies in there.
Cookies in it, because you go there and you're like, oh man, I'm having some cookies. Yeah, you open up like, what the fuck is that? Like,
never any cookies in there.
Some pennies. You might get a mass card in there too for somebody's dead relative. Like,
or the other one, the galleta de sola.
Yeah, yeah.
Big ass green tin, and it always had rice in it.
Yo, those are plastic now. They're not aluminum, and it's pissing me off. I'm so sorry.
Bogus.
Whatever. Danish cookies. It's all yours. Los couldn't stop laughing. I saw you while that was playing. That was just the way to go. So here we're going to do it. As you can see, we got a green team, a red team, a blue team, and the color is going to come up on the screen. That person asked a question, which removes them from getting any points. How much time should we each get for being able to answer? That person want to count it down? I'll play some background music.
Yeah, with 20 seconds, something, man, it can't be.
All right. So I'll get it on
right? Just enough time to, you know, or well, maybe 30 seconds or whatever. I don't know if the question.
Let's do 15.
Because the answers are going to be read out.
Yeah, whoever just read the question and the answers. First ever quiz show, y'all. The first question coming up is Team Blue.
Oh, okay. So this one might be a trick question. I don't know. Who's often regarded as Marvel's first mutant? Apocalypse, Namor, or Selene?
Do we need to write it down in the comments of the private chat?
Why? It's just three of us.
I'm saying B.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A. I feel like A is the one.
Okay. So I say it's a bit of a trick question because I think Los is technically correct, right? Marvel's Namor, when he appeared in the 1940s in comics, right? He's been around that long, and he's often been regarded as the first mutant. As a matter of fact, when his series came out in the 90s, the tagline was, I think, Marvel's first mutant. I think that's literally what they called him, you know, accompanying his title. However, when you look at like X Factor, when Apocalypse first appeared, he tells a story of how he surfaced 5,000 years ago, right? As a matter of fact, his name, Ensabanur, is supposed to mean the first one. However, when you look at Selene, who's always been more of a secondary character in the 80s, and I think she's gained some prominence since then, she alludes in a very, you know, in a two-part classic storyline of Uncanny X-Men where they were transported to an ancient medieval time, I think, by the sorcerer Kulan Gath. She alludes to having a previous history with Kulan Gath. Now, Kulan Gath is from the Hyborian age of Conan the Barbarian, which is about 17,000 years earlier, which lets the readers know that Selene is probably around that age. And then in the X-Force storyline Necrosha in the mid 2000s, we learned that Selene was born 17,000 years ago. So I say it's a true question because technically, right, Namor was often regarded as Marvel's first mutant. As a matter of fact, when he appeared in X-Men in 1961 or 63, when he appeared in X-Men 1963, Magneto tries to recruit him to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, right? Okay. But I think because of the way things have shaped up over the years, it's probably, you know, Selene is probably the oldest mutant, right? Namor's probably the first official canonical mutant. But nowadays, you know, they got Avengers 1 million BC and they have like something called a proto mutant. So who the fuck knows anymore, right? It'll be basically the Marvel's first mutant is whoever the fuck they decide it is next week.
Yeah. So. I didn't know how the lady who sang Bitty Bitty Bum Bum was a mutant. So that's why I went with A.
I was thinking the vampire from
Underworld.
Underworld.
Well, that's who she's supposed
to be.
Well, kind of. So she's a mutant who drains the life force of her victims, right? And so when we first see her in Uncanny X-Men, she's actually stalking the Juggernaut because she sensed how powerful he was, right? And then she later goes after Rachel Summers because she senses the power in Rachel Summers, and then she manipulates the Hellfire Club. She goes whatever. So now she's on Krakoa, all this other crap. But you know, she's alluded to have like a very, 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 very long lifespan. So
Okay.
Yeah. That's why I said it might be a bit of a trick question, but
interesting.
It's all good. We have 0 points. Los is winning. Next question. Boom. Team Green.
Deadly Hands of Kung Fu 19.
Okay, so Deadly Hands of Kung Fu 19, his first appearance of the first Puerto Rican superhero, the White Tiger. What is his real name? So we have A, Hector Ruiz, B, Hector Ayala, C, Danny Ayala, or D, Miguel Cabrera.
Fuck.
Sorry, I didn't know it was going to be ABC.
It's all good.
No, it's fine.
Seconds.
Wait, it's fine. Oh, wait.
So Hector Ruiz, Hector Ayala, Danny Ayala, or Miguel Cabrera.
I got mine. Music's up. Time's up. I'm going with B.
What was B again?
Hector Ayala.
Hector Ayala.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking. So earlier when I was in the shower, I was reflecting on that question for some reason. It came to me in the shower, and I kept thinking of Ayala. So I'm gonna go with that too. It's probably not right, but that's what came to mind.
Hector Ayala is correct.
What?
Yeah.
You know what? Thank you, ancestors. Y'all be looking out for me. Shit.
Yes. So Hector Ayala is the answer. Danny Ayala obviously is an actor.
Yeah.
Miguel Cabrera is a baseball player. And Hector Ruiz is just a made-up name because it sounded Spanish.
Yeah, I thought Hector Ruiz was that dude that works at a nonprofit down the street. I was like, I know that name from around the way. So, yeah.
So with that, I figured that, I throw in the partial names, like the first name, last name, but throw it in with different, the Danny Ayala, it was one of those things where it's like, it sounds familiar and you're like, man, I've heard that name before, but it's been associated to like, I think he played in a few like, like Sopranos type of deal, mafia, stuff like that. So it was one of those things where like you hear it and you're like, maybe it's that, so just to kind of throw you off, but yeah, it's Hector Ayala. And the cool thing is I wanted to throw in a question that had, the Puerto Rican roots, the first, Puerto Rican superhero. A lot of people kind of bypass this book because it's a magazine. So technically it's not a comic, but people tend to look over it, for that aspect. But it's like, hey, this is a key issue, right? I mean, it's, especially, being Puerto Rican, having that, representation meant something, especially, this book came out in the 70s, right? It was like 1971 or something like that or whatever. So a lot of people don't know that, everybody's like, oh, we just got one in the 90s. It's like, no, we've had, Puerto Rican superhero in the 70s, and he passed it on to his daughter and everything, stuff like that, because it's like a jewel that needs to be passed on. But people just kind of forget that, and just like, nah, we got to bring it back. So so that'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah. Good one. Good. I feel like I'm having a traumatic flashback with the Hector Ruiz names. I feel like he didn't let me date his sister in high school or something. I'm like,
bro, you need to go
like that dude.
You need to find
something about that dude.
You need to find some healing around that, bro.
For real. This question had a second part to it.
Yes. So, yeah, let's throw this in there. So there's a special guest appearance in this same book. This question 2 that we just had. So who is that special appearance? So here are your choices. So A, Chris Claremont, B, Stan Lee, C, John Romita, or D, George Perez. So A, Chris Claremont, B, Stan Lee, C, John Romita, or D, George Perez.
Time's up.
I'm gonna go with George Perez. I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, he may have created White Tiger. I could be wrong about that. I don't know why I'm thinking that. So I'm gonna go with that.
I'm going with Stan Lee because he'd love to put himself in stuff. I feel like the timeline fits, and it's pre-80s where George wouldn't be there.
And the answer is D, George Perez. So he was in it, but also, I mean, the writer was also in it as well. So they put themselves in it, but I just put George Perez. But yes, he was the creator. He was a co-creator of this character. And, you know, it was only fitting that, you know, another Latino created a Latino character. So I thought that was pretty cool. And he did, I believe this magazine had 2 stories in it. Story 1 was actually written by Chris Claremont. So he was partially in, you know, kind of in this book, but the second story, which actually had featuring White Tiger in his first appearance, there was 2 characters that were drawn in, and it was George Perez and the writer. They were both drawn into this book and played themselves. So that was the guess.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Yep.
Remember early when Jose, you said you'd be losing and you winning now?
Oh, listen. I that's still my prediction. I'm calling it, but you know,
bullshit. Anyway, red team. First question: Who is considered the fastest member of the Flash family?
Damn it!
You have Impulse from the future, Barry Allen, who gets the mantle second, and Wally West, who is partner to Barry and sticks around every time Barry gets sucked into the Time Force.
Mm-hmm.
Who would I put on the photo? That's Jesse and Johnny Quick, who aren't the fastest of the fast players.
No, they're like
who aren't the fastest.
They're like the average twins. They
like walk at my speed.
Yeah.
Let me get some music for y'all. Impulse, Barry Allen, or Wally West, who is considered the fastest member of the Flash family. FF in the house, the better of FF.
Huh?
Huh?
No.
Los, what's your answer?
I'm going with C, Wally West.
Joselito.
So I was gonna go with Wally West too, but I feel like I read something a while back that said that Impulse had the potential to be the fastest. So I'm gonna go with that, even though I don't know. What is it? Just put me out of my misery.
No, you're right. When Impulse came back, they were like, how is this kid so fast? And how is he my great nephew or grandson? But it is Wally West.
Mm-hmm.
He repeatedly comes through and busts Barry on the behind, but he's also one of the few who has competed in that race we always see between Barry and Superman and actually beats them both. So that happened in 2016, I believe, in one of those renditions.
Was it the Rebirth?
Yeah,
that run.
So he ended up coming out and spanking them both around the world, which was always inconclusive. Next question is coming from Green Team.
All right, Green Team. So, in this comic is the first battle between the Avengers and Doctor Doom. So here are your choices. So A, Avengers issue number 18. Avengers issue number 32, Avengers issue number 25, or Avengers issue number 45. So A, 18, B, 32, C, 25, or D, 45.
The song's growing on me. Can we get those again?
A, 18, B, 32, C, 25, or D, 45.
All right. I'm ready. I'm going to say C, 25.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 32.
All right. And the answer is C, 25.
Let's go.
So again, like I said, I had to throw a Doom question in there because Doom was my dude. And if you needed like a little hint, that just wasn't in the thing, right over here, if you can see it.
Hold on, let's get you
zoom in.
Yeah, right here. That's
Yeah.
it right there.
Oh, okay.
Issue 25.
The Bodega Cats logo is blocking it, but
yeah, there it is right there.
There it is.
Yep.
Word.
No.
I'm gonna start actually reading the shit that's on your walls.
All the answers.
That was the first meeting between them, the first battle. They show up in Latveria, and you can see Doom. He literally just standing there like, what? The whole team is there. He's like, yeah, I don't care. You guys ain't doing shit to me. Even at that, he's the ruler of a country, so they were technically, invading his country. So he had diplomatic immunity. They technically weren't even supposed to be there. So he didn't even really have to fight them, but of course he did, because Doom doesn't give a shit.
Wait, so that issue also had like the most, I don't know, not subpar, but the most like non-powered Avengers fighting him. You had Cap, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch, who back then could do nothing with her powers except make people trip, right? So
she didn't know her full
right. This
is
like pre-chaos magic, pre-Chthon Wanda. This is like, I'll make you trip because and I'm a damsel in distress. Like no wonder he's standing like, bitch, what? Because he's not afraid of them. Like
he wasn't.
He knew before the plane landed that Hawkeye wasn't a threat.
Like Cap's shield can't do shit to his armor, right? like Quicksilver, like on a good day, can probably run about as fast as the Quick siblings, right? Jesse and Johnny Quick, right? Like, yeah, no wonder he's not threatened. He's like, I've got this. Shit.
Oh man! Shout out to Quicksilver for saving those X-Men movies.
Yeah, that Quicksilver was better.
Yeah.
No, it's so funny. As you said that, I just pictured Jeremy Renner doing the speech to Scarlet Witch. Listen, everybody out there got powers. I ain't got shit but narrow.
He's like,
he's like,
he's like, we're in the sky. He's like, the city is falling.
Yeah.
He said, city's falling. He said, I'm out here with a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Right.
But I'm gonna do my best. But we're gonna go out there.
This is my favorite Hawkeye speech in all those movies.
Yeah, that was good. Oh, when he's like, I could shoot him right now. Nobody would know.
No one would know. No one would
know.
Yeah. Next question. Team Red. Who was the first female Green Lantern of Earth? Was it Molly Mayne, Jessica Cruz, or Jennifer Lynn Hayden, aka Jade? Who, unlike most Green Lanterns whose weakness is yellow, hers is wood. 15 seconds, y'all.
You read it today.
Molly Mayne. Molly Mayne? Related to Gucci. Jessica Cruz. Jennifer Lynn Hayden, also known as Jade, one of the many lovers of Kyle Rayner.
I'm gonna go with C, Jennifer Lynn Hayden, because she's related to, she's the daughter of Alan Scott, right? That's why she's allergic to wood.
Yeah, and her daddy her mom ran away. She was like, "You'll never have my baby," and she like left him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went with the same thing. I went with C, just because of the whole wood thing. Wood thing was the whole golden age, Green Lantern deal, the Alan Scott.
Yeah.
So I went with that. Jessica Cruz just seems too recent, and Molly Mayne. Honestly, for the life of me, I can't even Remember who she is.
Daughter of Gucci, like you said.
Oh man. Neither of you get points for that. And
is it Jessica Cruz?
No, it does make sense, right? Jessica Cruz, so far late into, is the first Green Lantern of Earth who identifies as female. Huh? And Jade never even became a member of the Justice Society and went out and started her own group with some other people. What was it, Infinity Inc. or something like that? They started some other group.
No, you're right. Because I remember Jade was never really an official Green Lantern. She had Green Lantern powers.
Yeah.
But I don't think she was actually inducted into the Corps until later. Because she eventually got a power ring, did she not?
She got a black ring.
She got a ring.
The Blackest Night.
But she, like, in her original, you're right, in her original appearances, she had a costume and she could tap into like the same energy sources, I think, as her dad. It was in her blood
because Alan had worn the ring so long that it was in his DNA.
Yeah.
And she loses the powers and then gets like some relic that gives her other powers later on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. It was all there.
That was good.
And it relates to our last video. Remember to go back and check out that AOK that we sent Jose, which actually includes the first issue of Jessica Cruz as a Green Lantern.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Next question. Back to the blue team.
All right.
So, DC is good for like changing up their continuity. And they do that usually through a crisis event. So, how many DC events have the word crisis in them? 3. Crisis on Infinite Earths, Identity Crisis, and Final Crisis. 4. Crisis on Infinite Earths, 0 Hour Crisis in Time, Identity Crisis, Final Crisis. 5. Crisis on Infinite Earths, 0 Hour Crisis in Time, Identity Crisis, Infinite Crisis, Heroes in Crisis.
It gets in your soul after a while.
I want that song. I don't even know what it is, but yeah. What say you both?
All right, I'm going with C. I know most of these.
Mm-hmm.
I was having doubts, maybe one of these, but DC, they label fucking everything crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going with 5. Like I said, I've read some of these. I know I have the Crisis on Infinite Earths. I have that whole run, which my boy Vic gave me. And I got the whole set signed by George Perez because he's awesome.
We stood in line forever that day.
And it was after the con.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But I'm gonna go with C. I'm gonna go with C5.
Yo, real quick, just because I'm forgetting right now, was Identity Crisis like another time they revamped?
No, it wasn't. It just has it's an event that had the word crisis in it. So Identity Crisis was actually really good. Identity Crisis was
that's the one where Dr. Light breaks in and
he sexually assaults Sue Dibney years ago, and Justice League, Zatanna, and a few other of their psychics use their powers to mind wipe Dr. Light's memory. And so it raises this ethical issue of like, how many times Dr. Light wasn't the only example. Who else have you mind wiped over the years? And this is a clear and blatant violation of our principles as heroes, right? And using our powers in ways that we said we would not. So it wasn't a universe-shattering, sprawling epic like Crisis on Infinite Earths, but it had the word crisis in it, so I threw that in.
Okay. Well, I'm going with B, because those make sense to me.
Okay, well, the correct answer is C, 5.
Listen, DC throws the shit on everything.
Right. So, and Carlos is right. Whenever they want to like, create an event, they just put the word crisis in it because they know it'll like get interest, right?
Yeah.
How
many long boxes have I gone through and not seen Heroes in Crisis books?
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I might have missed one now. You know what?
Heroes in Crisis is a newer one, ain't it?
Heroes in Crisis. Actually, I missed one. I believe there's 6. Dark Crisis, which came out in June.
Okay. Because I know the Heroes in Crisis, the one where they were talking to Batman's like machine or something like that. Like it was like a therapist machine, and villains and heroes were going to that shit and talking to it. and he was recording everything, and people were like, "Whoa, wait, heroes have issues? Like they have mental problems?" Like, yeah, man. Like we see a lot of shit. Like we need somebody to talk to that understands this shit.
That's real.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, I did forget one. Dark Crisis, which came out this year. So,
6.
Yeah. So 6.
I'm not giving Los the 100 points.
Okay. Oh no, we are. That was my fault. And I already know folks is gonna see this and be like, wait a minute, he fucked up. He missed one. So you know what? I'm gonna shut y'all up and beat y'all at the pass. There was 6. I fucked up. He's still getting the points. I'm not holding that against him. All right.
Nice. He said, "I'm beat you at the point. I know I messed up."
This game is rigged.
It's not, because I still gave. If it was rigged, I'd be like, "No, bitch, take that point back." But I gave it to him because I fucked up.
That's real.
Yeah.
Listen, we're halfway through this.
Are we?
Los is winning by 100. Joselito got 200. I got 200. We're tied. Let's see what happens next.
Oh,
here we go. Team Red. One of the final questions. I knew I was gonna bring a question out that y'all did not know.
Oh, here we go.
Keeping it current. In the final issue of Eve issue 5 from Boom Studios recently came out. What Rihanna song was considered classical music?
Wait, in the final issue of Eve, what Rihanna song was considered classical music?
Yes.
Okay.
The options are Umbrella, A, B, We Found Love, and C, Only Girl.
You know what sucks is I only read up to like issue 3.
Gotta finish those.
I gotta finish it.
That's 3 more than I've read, Carlos. So I don't know if I should guess on principle, but I may need to abstain because I never read this shit. I don't even know what that is. So
final issue, Eve. What Rihanna song was considered classical music? Umbrella, Ella, A, We Found Love, B, or Only Girl, C. Time's up.
I'm gonna go with B. I'm just trying to go based off of the wording of it, the tone of the music. I'm just gonna go with B.
Okay. You want to sing some of it so we know that it's the right song? Tell us the tone and the lyrics that you're hearing.
Nope.
Okay.
Absolutely. We found love in a hopeless place.
Absolutely not.
We found love in a hopeless place.
There you go. Thank
you. But I've always looked in the wrong places for love. I don't know. Shit. I told you I don't know. So because I didn't read this shit. So just tell us.
A, B, or C. Just guess one.
Just guess. All right. Only Girl.
Only Girl. The answer was B. Los is crushing us right now. And he went for it. The curveball was Only Girl because it's about her being the only one on the planet. I threw that in there, so I was trying to get y'all. But apparently, when her parents were taking care of her as a young person, they put that song in, and then it like goes into this machine that she repopulates all the grass and things on the earth, and she finds out that she has a twin, and they do all kind of other things. But I just use this one because I just pre-ordered the next 3 issues of the second part of the story that'll be coming out soon, because I think her little robot bear dude is a badass.
He's awesome.
That dude is probably the best companion robot I've seen in anything, maybe minus Star Wars lately.
So yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to pick me up.
Yeah, he weighs like a bajillion tons. Yeah,
I weigh like 800 pounds.
Yeah, no, that was pretty dope. And he was ruthless too. There was a bunch of kids with diseases. He was like, "I'm about to murk all of y'all."
It's a good. I need to finish that. It's a good read.
It was good. It was good. Second to last question. Green team. Sorry.
Ooh, whoa. All right. So,
I know this one.
This is my last question. So, in issue 9 of Luke Cage Hero for Hire, Luke fights Dr. Doom. What is the fight about? So, A, Doom owes Luke $200. B, Doom stole his girl. C, Doom took his chain. Or D, Doom said he got a small package.
Oh, wait. Go ahead.
So A, Doom owns Luke $200. Doom stole his girl. B, C, Doom took his chain, and D, Doom said he got a small package.
Random question in relation to the answer to D.
Uh-huh.
If he really wanted to monopolize on his ability, Mr. Luke here, he would use his DNA to make rubbers that never break. Think about it. Impenetrable skins. That's what they would be called.
So you're literally wearing Luke Cage.
No, his DNA is in the fibers, but yeah, you are. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna go with A. He owed Doom money, or Doom owed him money, because Luke at the time was a hero for hire, where he was contracting her services out to folks, and I believe, if I remember correctly, Doom did hire him for something, but was being a cheap ass and didn't pay him. I might be getting the story mixed up. And so Luke Cage goes to Latveria to get his money back and was like calling him a jive turkey and all this other shit, right? So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that one.
I'm gonna go with that one too, to keep the score the same if you're right. And that shit sounds logical as hell. So I don't know any of these, but that makes sense. And I know that, like, just in case, but I know Dr. Doom doesn't have a girl till like later on. Like, I feel like there's no reference to a Mrs. Doom at all.
Mrs. Doom.
And if he's gonna steal anything, it'd be his tiara, not his chain. So
It's
a more valuable metal. So yeah, I'll go with A.
What is it, Carlos?
The answer is A. Doom owes him $200, and so he did. He hired Luke Cage to do a job for him. Didn't pay him. Luke basically goes to the Fantastic Four and tells them, hey, I need to borrow one of your little hovercrafts or whatever, because I got to fly to Latveria and I got to get my money back from this dude. He basically convinced them. They're like, all right. So he goes to Latveria. Basically, busts the shit out of like all of Doom's like Doom bots and gets all the way to the damn castle, stands toe to toe with Doom, and Doom's like, all right, you got it. I give you respect. Here's your money. And he just leaves.
But wait a minute. I need to borrow your $1 million equipment
for $200.
Like, what kind of street? You got street cred like that? You don't need $200, bro. The fuel alone.
It's just the principle. It's the principle.
And even at that, he kind of broke into like the Baxter building too, or actually at the time I think it might have been something different, but he basically just like busted in there too and was just like, what?
And do you want to be like known as like, the dude that was like, he like let Dr. Doom run over him, like he's like a pussy, like he ain't going to like get his money back? You know what I'm saying?
I'm from the streets, homie.
Like he got a rap, like now, mind you, I mean, he went for his little $200, and see, that's how that's how much he values, his code and his word and contracts. Like, because he could have gone over there, busted his ass, and been like, "Bitch," and I'm gonna collect interest, and you're gonna give me like $1 billion behind that because I know you got it. But I just want my 200.
That's it. My $200.
I see him sitting at home on like a rotary phone, like, yep. Iron Fist, wait, bro, answer the phone. We gotta go bust this man. I gotta go alone. And just hangs up and leaves.
Gotta do it alone.
Iron Fist blows him up, and he got mad messages when he gets back. He's like, "Hey man, where'd you go?" And then he got this really good story to tell him at the bar. So that's what happened after. Oh man, that's a good one. That was a good one. Solid question. The last question goes back to Team Blue.
Azul. Can you say Azul?
Verde.
Right. Which comic book character was originally commissioned as a multimedia cross promotion with a record label, an actual record label? Is it A, Lila Cheney, B, Black Canary. I won't tell you which canary that was because there's like 8 of them, right? C, the Dazzler.
And time.
All right, I'm gonna go with C, the Dazzler, just because that was her whole persona. She was, a singer, and I want to say like I heard stories or whatever about her having origins and something else, not in just in the comics, and then like they kind of like crossed over and put her into comics or something like that because of that or whatever, her popularity or whatever. So okay. I mean, I could be completely off there, but I'm gonna go with Dazzler on that.
Okay, cool.
Is this Dazzler with the David Bowie haircut?
Huh? No.
Okay. Well. I don't know who Lila Cheney is, and I know even if me and Los both score, because I feel like it's Dazzler too. Like I remember playing the game and she grabs the mic and like hurts people. But I'm gonna go with A for this one because I can't win if he's even if I tie. That's my strategy now.
So, okay, so to your question, Victor, about who Lila Cheney is, she's a very like supporting, very very like background X-Men character. She is a singer. She is a mutant with the ability of interstellar teleportation, so she can transport herself across galaxies. The only caveat to her power is that she can only teleport herself or people to places that she's already been, right? So, for her, it's interstellar travel, because she has the ability to cross galaxies, but the limitation is that she can only go to places that she's been or that her passengers have been to, right?
Oh. Like a bootleg.
But you figure, if somebody travels the world, right, then they can go. She can teleport them anywhere because where they've been, right? So that's who she is.
She's from Jumper.
Yeah, she's a singer, and she and Dazzler have collaborated in the past. She's an interstellar singer, and actually, Lila Cheney first made her very first appearance in New Mutants Annual number 2 when she literally tried to steal the Earth. She is a galactic rock star. But the correct answer, both of you, yes, it is. Well, no, Victor got it wrong, right? It's the Dazzler. It's C.
I chose to get it wrong. Remember that.
What'd you say?
I chose to get it wrong because I wasn't going to win anyway.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Had you done that, you would have gotten ahead of me, right? I would have been in last place. Now we're, neck and neck. So it is Dazzler. Dazzler appeared, she was conceived. She was, created in like the late 70s. It was a cross promotion between Marvel Comics and Casablanca Records. The idea was that Marvel would create the persona, via like illustration and whatnot. And Casablanca Records would actually make that into an actual singer. But it eventually got dropped. Dazzler did, but Marvel kept her on as a concept, as a character. And she did appear in the Dark Phoenix saga, I believe was her first appearance, if I'm not mistaken. And then she went on to have her own series, which lasted, I believe, 42 or maybe 47, maybe 50 issues or something. She had her own graphic novel that came out, Dazzler, the graphic novel. Bill Sienkiewicz, who we talked about, I think the first episode, he drew New Mutants. He also drew some issues of Dazzler, I believe, where he drew the covers. And then she transitioned over to the X-Men as a full-fledged member. Interestingly enough, people hate on Dazzler because of like her whole disco getup, right? Her persona as being like a disco queen. And she was conceived in the 70s at the end of like the disco era. But there was a time in the 80s where Dazzler was probably the most, outside of Jean Grey, she was probably the most powerful mutant at that time. Jean Grey was still, at the time, she was still dead. And then she'd returned to life in X Factor, but she was, she didn't have her telepathy. She had her telekinesis. Dazzler was one of the most powerful mutants. She has the ability, like you said, Vic, you play the game. She has the ability to convert sound into light. And in the 80s, writers found a lot of ways to use that in creative ways. She created like solid light force fields. She could even propel herself in the air for short bursts by holding, propelling herself with her light blasts. She could generate laser blasts. And then there were contemporary issues in the late 90s, early 2000s, where we see Dazzler literally absorbing the sound from an entire crowd, and it boosts her power levels to insane amounts. For a time, and actually there was like a single issue of Dazzler where, quiet as kept, Dazzler was a herald of Galactus for one issue. Literally one issue. She had absorbed, she got into a fight with Claw, I believe. And then, Claw is like the master of sound. He threw his entire essence at her. She absorbed it. She became super powerful. Galactus hired her for a short term. She was briefly his herald. Yeah, so Dazzler is that girl. She just gets, shitted on a lot. But yeah, it was
X-Men 130, I believe it's her first appearance.
Yeah, it was. She was performing at a nightclub. Jean Grey, back then she was being corrupted into Dark Phoenix, and her and Cyclops went looking for Shadowcat, I believe. They were in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, they were trying to infiltrate the Hellfire Club, and Dazzler was at the nightclub, and she used her powers to distract the Hellfire Club henchmen from attacking Jean and Scott. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, yeah, because then you get the White Queen and Sebastian Shaw in issue 131 or something like that.
Yep. So there you have it. And she also starred for a brief time. She had a limited series called Beauty and the Beast, where she was Beauty, and the Beast was the Beast from the X-Men. They had like a short-term kind of fling going on.
Oh, that's
interesting. It was called Beauty and the Beast. It was a 4-issue limited series. So.
Right on. So that was the last question. Based on the score, Los 500 as the winner. Then there's the other folks. Me and Joselito. Cry emoji. How do you feel, winner?
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool. It was fun. There was some questions in there that I definitely, just pulled some of those out of my ass. I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this one. So I definitely got a little lucky there. But some of them I kind of knew, but some of them I was just like, yeah, I'm going for it.
Listen, I was just being a leech toward the end. I was like, let me just jump on to see who's getting these right.
Jose's answer sounds logical. I'll go with that.
He's a hero for hire. That shit made sense. I didn't even think about that. Like, I'm over here thinking about how to use DNA to make impenetrable condoms to protect people. Like, that's what I was thinking about when you were going through that whole thing. And I was like, oh, I'm just taking that. Well, yeah.
That's good.
Congratulations. This won't be the last time you face me. So, yeah, we'll do this again. We'll make it happen. We'll find better ways to have it happen.
Hey, maybe we can ask some of our followers to ask us questions next time.
Oh, that'd be good. We can bring someone in as a guest host. I'm down for that.
Submit some questions to us.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
That'd be cool. Real good. We'll throw that in the comment section. Word. All right, that's it for the show. Los, Joselito, what's going on with y'all?
You ask us every week, and every week I'm like, oh.
Every week I'm gonna keep asking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I got some packages sitting here that I can unbox. I'm probably gonna do an unboxing soon. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, I mean, I got my other video that's out right now. Check that out. My unboxing that I just did for my CPR book that I did, NYX3. So definitely check that out. And but yeah, I mean, like I said, I got some packages I can unbox. I'll probably do an unboxing video soon. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, I'll probably go hunting hopefully sometime this week.
I need to, bro. Like, I haven't been to a comic book store in a while, and I just got my bill today. Like, yo, it's 3 figures. And I was like, oh, I'm broke. What you reading this week, Joselito? Because since you say you ain't doing nothing, but I know you be reading everything.
Yeah, I gotta see what comes out this week though. I can tell you what I bought last week that I still need to read. Let me pull that up. Hold on 1 second. See, now I'm not ready. Fuck. You ask this shit, and I'm like, I don't think about
every
it
time.
And I forget every single fucking time.
Yeah, I learn how to make cornbread and shit.
So I've been reading Legion of X from Marvel, which they've done a nice job of. I think, they've taken this idea of the Krakoan society and X-Men, and now looking at sort of developing a faith system, right? So what is a mutant religion? What do they believe in? And so there's a storyline in Legion of X. Nightcrawler is the head of this unit, right? And so they're facing a Krakoan like runaway god, right? And so what does it mean for them as a society as they develop their religion. X-Men Red, R-E-D, is actually really, really good. So it picks up on the threads where the Arakko mutants, so Krakola's like, you know, counterpart, those mutants end up transporting to Mars, and they terraform Mars. Magneto, Storm, and some of the Iraqi mutants, and they terraform Mars, make it inhabitable, and now the entire planet is their new colony. So, right, so mutants have colonized. Right, so many things you can talk about there. And Storm is like their leader, right? And she says, like, from issue 1, she's like, I am nobody's queen. Like, I reject that title, but she is sort of like their ambassador. Magneto, him and Storm have formed a really good, close relationship, which, you know, we've seen over the years, and like even the early days when Magneto was a leader of the X-Men and Storm didn't have her powers, they had a really tight bond then. We also see in X-Men Red that Magneto and Storm both make the decision to not have backups of their memories, so that in the event that they die, that they can't be resurrected.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they both were like, no, we don't. If we die, we die. We don't need our copies backed up. We're not trying to come back.
You don't want the gold balls to bring you back.
Right? No. First of all, gold balls brought you back. What?
I love that when this guy can like make eggs that aren't fertile. We fertilize them now. I was like, oh, this is getting weird.
It is. It was, yeah. But so that's what I'm reading last week. Speaking of Dazzler, Leah Williams, who I've read her stuff before, she put out the first issue last week of a limited series called Exterminators, and it's all female. It's Dazzler, Jubilee, Boom Boom, Dazzler, Jubilee, Boom Boom. Who else am I missing? Dazzler, Jubilee. Yeah, I think that's it. And then X-23, or the new Wolverine. And it's so stupid. It's entirely dumb. It's like pure cheesecake. It's pure just like slapstick. It's so dumb. But I think she even said, she was like, that was the point, because after her previous runs on different Marvel titles and kind of getting burned with like X Factor, she wanted something that was like a fresh palette. And so she thought this was like putting something that was dumb was catharsis for her, after the emotional, like, heavy lift that she did writing these other books for Marvel. So
okay,
it is
Jubilee still carrying her baby around in a baby backpack on adventers.
Who's this? Oh, no, Jubilee. No, so actually in recent issues, I got to get caught up on Excalibur and Knights of X, or Knights of 10, if you will. Her son became like a dragon in Otherworld. Yeah. And so now, you know, Shogo, right, is like a dragon. So.
Yeah. Got it. That's good to hear. Again, make sure to watch that unboxing of the CPR. And there was another book in there too, right? It was that book.
Yep. I had
check that out. Don't show it to them.
Ultimate 3.
Go watch the video.
Yeah.
Go watch that. Support Los's comic journey.
Oh, I do. Oh, you know what? Thinking of just talking about that, books that you're reading. I will be October 19th, I believe. I will be on JP Budget Collecting channel. We'll be doing a comic review of Monstrous Volume 7. So we'll be doing that. So I'll be jumping on that as well. So definitely check that out too. I'll be on there.
Dope. All right. And for me, I'm just going to sit around here and cry because, 1, I lost. And 2, for the first time ever, I wanted a Tyler Kirkham cover and I didn't get it. And it's that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 100. They just finally hit that 100th book and it had a ton of covers, but that joint started selling for like $200. And I was like, oh, now everyone's a Power Ranger fan. And I was like, for the last couple of weeks, looking at everything that he's been doing, how it's the same, I was like, all his art is trash. And then he did a Power Rangers book and I was like, oh, Tyler Kirkham, I love it. Because, you know, material. We do that to ourselves. And I get to see what happens on week 5, issue 5 of 8 Billion Genies tomorrow. And then our guest star, MM, I don't know if I can say his name for licensing reasons, but MM, issue 42 comes out tomorrow. So that'll be another good read.
Last issue, right?
Yeah.
Last issue of that run.
So I'm excited about that. And we start another one where he gets to meet his time-traveling sister again.
Mm-hmm.
Go Billy. But all right. Signing off, y'all. It was good. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see y'all later.
All right.
Peace, y'all.
Bodega Cats comic.
Meow.